you ever felt exhausted, even when nothing is wrong? Do you lie awake, trying to plan everything just right? Are you gripping life so tightly that you can't feel it anymore? If so, you're not alone. And this video might be exactly what your heart has been waiting for. Hello friends, and welcome back to Son.Mindfulness. Please stay with us until the end of this video. This isn't just a lesson, it's a journey into something deeper. Today, more people than ever feel overwhelmed. We're trying to manage everything, every task, every conversation, every outcome. But what happens when life doesn't follow the plan? We worry, we push harder, we carry stress that was never ours to begin with. It's a silent epidemic, but it doesn't have to stay that way. There is another way to live. You can learn to let go, not let go of responsibility, but letting go of fear, pressure, and constant control. Because when you let go, life starts to move on its own, like a river flowing through the forest. It doesn't panic, it doesn't rush, it simply flows. An old man once sat by that river watching the water. He had spent a lifetime chasing, controlling, struggling. But in the stillness, he saw something he'd missed. Peace doesn't come from holding on. It comes when you finally release. Does that sound like your life? Are you still pushing against the current? Or are you ready to float? In this video, we'll explore 7 timeless Buddhist lessons. Each one is a gentle reminder. Each one is a small step toward inner peace, and each one invites you to let go a little more each day. If this message speaks to something in you, then stay with us, because sometimes one quiet truth can change how you walk through the rest of your life. Before we begin, please take a moment to subscribe to Son.Mindfulness. Our channel shares weekly insights on mindfulness, letting go, and living with greater peace. Support us with a like or share your thoughts in the comments below. Which lesson resonates with you most? What are you ready to let go of today? Your words might inspire someone else, wishing you strength, wishing you clarity, wishing you the peace that comes from letting go. Now let's begin this journey together, and let the river carry you. Part 2. Introduction: Why letting go matters. Have you ever held water in your hand? The tighter you squeeze, the faster it slips away. That's how life behaves when we try to control it. We plan, we push, we worry. We think if we just hold on tighter, things won't fall apart. But has it really brought peace? If you're like most people over 50, you've lived through enough storms to know some things can't be forced. Some doors only open when we stop banging on them. And sometimes the hardest part of the journey is learning to let go. Letting go isn't giving up, it's waking up. It's realizing you don't have to carry everything anymore. You've spent decades managing responsibilities, careers, families, expectations. You've tried to control the outcomes, shape the future, hold people together, fix what was broken. And somewhere along the way, life began to feel heavier than it used to. But what if the heaviness isn't from what you carry? What if it's from how tightly you're holding on? There's a reason ancient Buddhist wisdom speaks so much about letting go. The Buddha taught that life is impermanent, anicca. Everything changes, everything passes, even joy, even pain, even you. When we cling to anything, a belief, a plan, a person, we suffer. Because what we hold eventually moves. That's not a punishment, that's nature. Buddhism also reminds us, there is no fixed self, anatta. You're not the same person you were 10 years ago, or even yesterday. Clinging to identities or labels traps you in who you used to be. True freedom begins when you stop saying, "This is who I must always be." You start asking instead, "Who am I now in this moment?" And deeper still is the teaching of dependent origination, paticca. Nothing exists alone. Everything arises from causes and conditions. Trying to control every piece of life is like trying to stop the ocean wave by wave. Can you control the wind? Can you make a flower bloom by shouting at it? Why then do we expect peace from the force of effort? The truth is, peace doesn't come when we win the battle. Peace comes when we stop fighting, when we surrender, not out of weakness, but wisdom. When we finally say, "I trust what I cannot yet see, I will let go." Does this sound like you? Do you catch yourself replaying conversations, worrying about tomorrow's news, trying to force someone to change? Ask yourself gently, what would happen if I stopped clinging? What if I opened my hand and allowed life to flow? Letting go is not loss. It's space, it's clarity, it's choosing trust over tension. So today, we're not here to master life. We're here to soften into it, to breathe, to step out of the storm in the mind, to rediscover the power of surrender. Because when we let go, life doesn't fall apart, it begins to realign. Here are 7 timeless Buddhist lessons. They're not rules, they're quiet invitations. Each one is a doorway to less noise, more peace, and a deeper kind of strength. Let's walk through the first one together. It's called, "Fear is a seed, don't water it." Part 3. 7 Letting Go Lessons. Lesson 1. Fear is a seed, don't water it. Have you ever noticed how fear creeps in quietly? It starts with one small thought. What if I lose this? What if they leave? What if I'm not enough? At first it's just a whisper, then it becomes a storm. You start acting differently, you hesitate, you hold back, you shrink, and without realizing it, you begin living as if the fear is already true. In Buddhism, fear is described as a seed. If you feed it, if you water it, it grows. But if you stop feeding it attention, it begins to die. The mind, the Buddha taught, is like fertile soil. It doesn't care what you plant. Fear, peace, joy, anger. Whatever you sow, it will grow. So ask yourself, what have you been planting lately? Have you been nurturing fear? Or are you ready to let go of what no longer serves you? Letting go of fear doesn't mean pretending it doesn't exist. It means seeing it clearly and choosing not to let it drive the car. Letting go is noticing the voice of fear and gently turning the volume down. Take a moment. Think about your relationships. Has fear ever made you cling too tightly? Have you pushed people away trying to avoid being hurt? What about your job? Have you ever played small because you feared being judged? Fear is powerful, but it's not truth. It's a lens. It distorts the world into something darker than it is. Let me tell you a story. During the Vietnam War, Zen master Thich Nhat Hanh was forced to flee his homeland. Many of his students were terrified. One young monk refused to leave the monastery, fearing what would happen if he did. He told Thich, "Master, if I stay, I may be killed, but if I leave, I'll lose everything I know." Thich Nhat Hanh simply replied, "Fear is a cloud. You don't fight it, you breathe through it." The monk followed his teacher's advice. He fled. He cried on the boat. He trembled. But he breathed. Years later, that monk built a new monastery in France. It became Plum Village, one of the most respected centers of mindfulness in the world. Fear didn't win, but only because he let go of control and trusted his breath. Now ask yourself this, what are you feeding right now? Is it a seed of fear or a seed of trust? Next time anxiety rises, pause. Take one slow, full breath. Ask yourself, is this fear helping me build peace or feeding panic? Because here's the truth. Letting go of fear doesn't make you weaker. It frees your hands to build something better. And when your inner garden changes, your outer world does too. Now that we've looked at how fear can distort your reality, let's explore how surrender can actually make you stronger. Our next lesson is, true strength is found in surrender. Lesson 2. True strength is found in surrender. We're taught from a young age that strength means control. Hold on tighter, push harder, plan more, never let your guard down. But what if that's not real strength? What if the true power comes not from gripping, but from knowing when to let go? In Buddhist wisdom, surrender is not weakness, it's clarity. It's the moment you stop wrestling with the river and start floating with it. Think about this. Have your best moments in life come from forcing things or from allowing them? Have you ever pushed so hard, only to burn out? And have you ever stopped, breathed, released, and found life aligning on its own? The Buddha taught about non-resistance. It's the art of releasing attachment to outcomes. You do your part, you act with wisdom, but then you let the rest unfold. That is surrender. It's not passive, it's powerful. It takes great courage to stop interfering. There's an old Zen saying, let go or be dragged. Holding on too tightly creates suffering. Think of trying to hold sand in your hand. If your fist is tight, it all slips away. If your palm is open, the sand rests peacefully. That's letting go. That's surrender. Let me share a story. During World War II, General Douglas MacArthur was asked why he didn't immediately attack a strategic enemy base. He said, sometimes the strongest move is no move at all. The tide must come in on its own. He waited. The weather shifted. The enemy made a mistake, and the battle was won, with fewer lives lost. That's not indecision. That's surrendered intelligence. True leaders and true spiritual practitioners know this. Control isn't the goal. Alignment is. When we try to control everything, we're acting from fear. When we let go, we're acting from trust. Ask yourself this: where in your life are you trying too hard? What outcome are you trying to force? What would happen if you did your part and then stepped back? Letting go means saying, I've done what I can. Now I trust the unfolding. You may be surprised how often life meets you halfway. The help you were waiting for appears. The answer you were chasing reveals itself. The tension softens. The current begins to carry you. Because letting go doesn't mean losing power. It means discovering a different kind of power. The quiet kind. The steady kind. The kind that knows when to act and when to surrender. Now that you've felt the strength and release, let's explore something even more immediate. Anxiety lives in tomorrow. Come back to now. Lesson 3. Anxiety lives in tomorrow. Come back to now. Anxiety is a master storyteller. It spins tales about what might go wrong. It whispers, what if you fail? What if they leave? What if everything falls apart? And before you know it, your mind isn't here anymore. It's somewhere in a future that hasn't even happened. Buddhist wisdom teaches us something simple, but powerful. Anxiety only lives in the future. You cannot survive in the present. Right now, in this exact breath, you are okay. You are alive. You are breathing. You are safe. That's the power of presence. It's why mindfulness is at the heart of Buddhist practice. Mindfulness isn't complicated. It's not about sitting in silence for hours. It's about gently returning, over and over again, to now. The moment you notice your mind racing ahead, pause. Place your hand on your chest. Feel your breath. That's the doorway back. Let me tell you a story. The Vietnamese Zen master, Thich Nhat Hanh, once spoke to a group of business leaders. One executive stood up and said, I can't stop thinking about next week's presentation. I'm overwhelmed. Thich smiled and asked him, can you breathe right now? The man said, yes, then start there. Thich said, don't live in next Tuesday, live in this breath. Anxiety lost its grip in that moment, because the present is where peace lives. You've likely spent much of your life planning, worrying, trying to prepare for every outcome. But how many of those worries ever came true? And how many moments of peace did you miss while chasing them? When you practice mindfulness, you let go of what hasn't happened. You return to what is real. Right here, right now. Letting go of anxiety means refusing to time travel. It means choosing this moment over a movie in your head. Ask yourself, where is your mind spending most of its time? If you could return to now, what would you feel? What beauty would you notice? What stress would dissolve? Try this. Next time you feel anxiety rising, pause. Touch something near you. Breathe deeply. Say silently, this moment is enough. I am enough. Repeat it 3 times and feel how your body responds. Because letting go of tomorrow gives you back today. And today is the only place life ever truly happens. As we move from anxiety to awareness, let's explore the next heavy burden we carry. Imagined fears are the heaviest. Lesson 4. Imagined fears are the heaviest. How many nights have you lost sleep over things that never happened? How many times have you braced for disaster, only to watch nothing unfold? The mind is a clever dramatist. It writes scripts, it builds worst-case scenarios, it creates entire worlds based on what if. But those worlds aren't real. They're made of thought, not truth. Buddhist wisdom reminds us, just because a thought appears, doesn't mean it deserves belief. You are not your thoughts, you are the one watching them. When we believe every thought, especially the fearful ones, we suffer twice. Once in the imagination, and again in reality, if it even happens. Have you ever imagined a terrible outcome, then avoided a conversation, hid from an opportunity, closed your heart? That's fear turning fiction into fact. Let me tell you a story. During the Tang Dynasty, a general named Li Jing was known for his unmatched battlefield strategy. But once, before an important battle, he grew paralyzed with doubt. He dreamed of defeat. His mind played every failure before it even began. A Buddhist monk saw his hesitation and said, "You've already lost the battle in your mind, now win it in your heart." Li Jing meditated that night. He visualized not war, but calm, not fear, but presence. The next day, he won. Not because he forced victory, but because he let go of imagined defeat. You see, imagined fears weigh more than real ones. Because they're endless. They shift, they multiply, they follow you everywhere, until you face them. Letting go of imagined fear means gently questioning it. Ask yourself, is this actually happening? Or is this just a thought? Is this fear based on truth or memory? Will this still matter 1 year from now? You'll often realize you're fighting shadows, you're reacting to phantoms, not facts. Try this the next time fear appears. Close your eyes, visualize placing the fear in a basket, set it down by a river, watch it float away. You may feel silly, but your nervous system won't. Your body listens to what your mind imagines. So give it peace, not panic. Letting go of imagined fear doesn't mean becoming careless. It means becoming conscious. It's choosing clarity over chaos. It's choosing truth over thought. So pause, breathe, and remember, most of what burdens you isn't even real. Now that we've begun clearing away illusion, let's take a closer look at what keeps us from trusting. Control blocks faith. Trust the path. Lesson 5. Control blocks faith. Trust the path. We love control. It makes us feel safe. We plan, we predict, we micromanage, we try to hold life in a headlock, just in case it misbehaves. But here's the truth no one wants to admit. Control is just fear in disguise. It's a quiet panic that says, if I don't manage everything, it'll all fall apart. But has that control ever brought you peace? Or has it only made you tired? Buddhism teaches that faith and control walk in opposite directions. The tighter you hold on, the further you drift from trust, and the more you trust, the more you're able to let go. Faith isn't about doing nothing, it's about doing what you can, then releasing the rest. Imagine planting a seed. You water it, you tend the soil, you protect it from weeds. But do you yank it out to check if it's growing? No, you trust the process. That's faith. That's letting go. Control wants certainty. Faith embraces mystery. Let me tell you a story. The great Tibetan teacher Dilgo Khyentse Rinpoche once said, "Trying to control your life is like trying to hold the wind in your hands." He spent years meditating in mountain caves. No calendar, no watch, no agenda. Only trust in the unfolding. Did he miss out? No. He became one of the most revered Buddhist teachers of the 20th century. He showed the world, you can do less and still live deeply. Ask yourself this. Where in your life are you gripping too hard? Are you overthinking a relationship, stressing about money, obsessing over timing? What if you chose trust instead? What if you whispered, "I've done my part, now I let go"? You'd feel your shoulders drop, your breath deepen, your vision clear. Because letting go of control is not passive, it's powerful. It says, I believe in something larger than me. I trust the path beneath my feet. So next time you catch yourself forcing, fixing, or fuming, pause. Ask, is this mine to hold? Or is this life's to handle? You don't need to hold the steering wheel every mile. Sometimes it's okay to ride, to breathe, to allow, to believe that life just maybe knows where it's going. Now that you've loosened your grip on control, let's explore how letting go opens space for something bigger. Letting go is how you begin to grow. Lesson 6. Letting go is how you begin to grow. Worry has a way of shrinking your world. It starts small, just a little hesitation, a cautious plan, a quiet fear of what might go wrong. You call it being responsible. You tell yourself it's just being careful. But over time, careful becomes cramped. You speak less, you risk less, you dream smaller. And before you know it, you've built a life inside a box made of what-ifs. Buddhist wisdom teaches us that fear doesn't protect, it restricts. It narrows your field of view. It dulls your sense of possibility. It pulls you away from the present moment. But when you begin to let go, something amazing happens. You begin to breathe deeper. You stand taller. You remember who you were before the fear settled in. Let me ask you this. When was the last time you did something that scared you a little? When was the last time you felt alive? Not because everything was safe, but because something was true. Growth is not found in control. It's found in surrender. It's found in risk. It's found in saying, I'm ready to grow, even if I don't know how it ends. Letting go isn't weakness. It's the strongest move you can make. Think of a tree. If it never shed its leaves, it would never make space for new ones. Let me share a story. Mahatma Gandhi, one of the most powerful change makers in modern history, didn't start his mission from power. He started from loss. He was thrown off a train, humiliated, shaken. But instead of clinging to bitterness or control, he let go. He surrendered his ego. And in that surrender, something new was born. A movement, a legacy. A man who taught the world that nonviolence is stronger than any sword. He grew because he released. Ask yourself now, what are you clinging to that keeps you small? Is it an old story? A belief about your worth? A fear of being seen? What if letting go of that belief opened a door to your next chapter? Try this. Write down one worry you've outgrown. Fold the paper. Place it in a drawer or burn it safely. Tell yourself, I release this. I make space. Because when you let go, you create room. Room for courage, room for joy, room for new beginnings. And isn't that what growth really is? A quiet blooming that happens the moment you stop gripping so tight. Now that we've explored growth through release, let's move to the final and most powerful insight. Life flows when you step aside. Lesson 7. Life flows when you step aside. Have you ever stood in a river and tried to stop the current? You push against it, you plant your feet, you resist, and all it does is exhaust you. That's what life feels like when you try to control every detail, when you force outcomes, when you chase answers that aren't ready yet. But Buddhist wisdom offers a different path. Step aside, not out of defeat, but from trust. Trust that life, like water, knows how to find its way. You've likely spent years trying to manage every corner of your life. You've checked the emails, you've rehearsed the conversations, you've stayed up at night solving problems that haven't even happened. Has it made life smoother, or has it only made your mind louder? There's a Zen teaching that says, muddy water clears when left alone. The more you interfere, the cloudier things become. But when you pause, release, and let go, clarity returns. Let me tell you a story. There was a high-ranking samurai named Takamori. He was proud, powerful, and always in control. But after retirement, he struggled. His sword was sharp, but his mind was restless. He visited a Zen master and said, I've commanded armies, but I cannot calm my own thoughts. The monk poured him tea. The cup overflowed. Takamori shouted, Stop, it's spilling. The monk said, And now, you know your mind. Takamori understood. His life was overflowing because he never stopped pouring. He had never learned to step aside, to trust the silence between actions. You may not command armies, but your mind might feel the same, overflowing, tense, always moving. Ask yourself, What are you trying to fix right now? What are you chasing that hasn't yet arrived? What if stepping back was the most powerful move? Letting go doesn't mean walking away. It means no longer standing in life's way. It means doing what is yours to do and no more. It means breathing into the pause instead of filling it. Try this today. When something feels forced, stop. Close your eyes. Ask gently, is this a moment to act or to allow? Because often the thing you want is already on its way, but it needs space to arrive. When you step aside, you stop being the obstacle. You become the invitation. The current flows again. The people, ideas, and timing all begin to align, not because you chased them, but because you allowed them. Because you trusted the unfolding. Because you were brave enough to let go. And now, dear reader, we've arrived together. Not at the end, but at the beginning of something quieter, something truer. It's time to return, not to effort, but to essence. Let's walk into the final reflection together. Conclusion: coming home to yourself. Conclusion: coming home to yourself. You've walked through 7 timeless truths. Each one has whispered the same quiet message: let go. Because peace doesn't come from control. It comes from harmony, from trust, from remembering that you are not the river. You are the one being carried. You don't need to grip so tightly. You don't have to figure it all out. You don't have to conquer the world to feel free. You just have to pause. Open your hand and let the butterfly land, if it chooses. Are you still clinging to something right now? Is there one thought, one fear you could let go of today? Just one? Letting go is not a grand performance. It's a quiet decision. It's taking one deep breath instead of one more step in panic. What if you stopped chasing? What if you allowed something to come to you? What if you returned, not to your worries, but to your breath? Right here, right now. This is home. This is where clarity begins. This is where peace waits. Thank you for walking this journey with me. It means more than words can say. You've stayed through the stillness and the storms. You've opened your heart to a new way of living. That takes courage. That takes wisdom. That takes presence. If something resonated with you, please share it in the comments. Which part of this journey felt most true to you? Which lesson are you ready to practice? And what are you ready to let go of today? If you found value in this, consider subscribing to Son.Mindfulness. Let's keep exploring the path of letting go together. Let's breathe a little deeper, walk a little slower, and trust the rhythm of life, one moment at a time. I wish you peace, I wish you strength, I wish you joy in every breath, and above all, may you always feel carried by grace. Thank you.